Okay. Numbered. Alice Elizabeth. Tell me your full name.
Alice Elizabeth Wentz.
And your married name.
Patterson Ziegler.
Okay. And your date of birth.
3/15/23.
And your mother's full name.
Ethel Alice Trudell.
And do you know the place and date of her birth?
Philadelphia.
Was it February 7th?
February 7th, 1898.
Wow. And your dad's full name?
Herman Henry Wentz.
Okay. And the place and date of his birth?
Philadelphia.
And
his birth date was 1898.
Okay. And was he September 18th?
No, his was November
18th. Okay. And the names of your paternal grandparents?
My paternal grandparents were George Leo Wentz. And interestingly, he marched in the parade and held the flag for Lincoln's memorial. And Grandmom's name was Amelia Elizabeth Wentz.
Okay.
I think her maiden name was Winterer.
Okay. And do you remember where they were born or their birth
I
dates or anything?
don't know too much about them.
Yeah, I know you have that in writing.
Maybe somewhere.
Yeah. And how about your maternal grandparents?
My maternal grandparents were Alice Heseltine Wall Trudell, my grandmother. And my grandfather's name was Albert Rene Trudell, Sr.
That was odd. Renee for a man's middle name, huh?
All the Trudells had the name Rene.
And
it was from some connection with French Canadian.
Was it R-E-N-E-E?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
R-E-N-E.
Okay. And then the names of your siblings.
I only had one sibling, my brother, Harry Albert Wentz.
And he was born...
He was younger than I was.
And he was born in Philly also?
Philly.
9/10/1926.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, let's see. What was your favorite sport?
I wasn't really a sporty person, but I did play basketball.
Yeah.
With the church.
Okay. And your favorite book?
Oh, Gone with the Wind.
Okay. And your leisure activity you like to do?
Oh, I like to read books.
Okay. Who's your favorite writer, your author?
Let's see, Patterson. I like James Patterson.
Yeah.
James Patterson, I mean. And I have to keep a book log because it goes back to 1985. And I read a Sidney Sheldon about a year ago. And I thought, that was so good. He always has a trick ending. And so I went into my book log, and I noticed that it was copyrighted 1991. So I went back to 91 and came forward. And it was the third time I had read it.
Really?
And enjoyed it each time.
Right. Well, that's good, though. That's real good. What's your favorite dessert?
Chocolate whipped cream pie.
That sounds good. Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
No, I don't.
No. A hymn or song that's a favorite?
Amazing Grace.
Okay. And your favorite vacation spot?
Long Beach Island.
Okay. And that would probably be with all your family there, right?
Yeah, New Jersey.
What's your favorite type of food?
I like just regular food.
Yeah. Anything pretty much? American?
American.
Okay. All right. Well, some of the questions here are, this is probably a good one, is what did you enjoy doing most as a child?
Oh, we played hopscotch. I used to read a lot. My mother had to take the book away from me and kick me outside to go play to get some exercise.
Really? And then what about, did you prefer doing, well, obviously you did it with other kids, the hopscotch and stuff. Did you, do you know who gave you your name and why?
My mother, I was the fourth Alice in the family. Great-grandmother was Alice. My grandmother was Alice Hesseltine. Great-grandmother's name was Ball. It was a family name. And they were from Altoona. And then my grandmother, mother's mother, Jay we called her, her name was Alice Hesseltine. And my mother's name was Ethel Alice Trudell Wentz. And then I was named Alice Elizabeth Wentz.
Lots. And then here's my sister, Alice Elizabeth Wentz also. Yeah. Did you have a nickname?
Alla.
Ella?
Because when I was young I couldn't say my name right. The great-grandparents, Trudells, he wrote a letter and he'd write to us and he'd say, and Alla Woozy Woozy Wentz. That's how I'd say my name.
Can you describe your childhood home and what was your favorite room?
Yeah, I had my own room, and we had a row house, and it was in Southwest Philadelphia, which was considered a suburb of Philadelphia at that time, although it was part of Philadelphia. And we had 3 bedrooms and 1 bath. You had to stand in line for the bathroom. But it was fun. We had fun. My mother played the piano, and all my friends came to see my mother.
Really?
Because they'd stand around the piano, and she could improvise so well. I could never do that. I just had to read the score, and that's the way I played it. It never sounded as well as my mother's. And the kids would come, and we'd sing around the piano and have fun that way.
Well, that's good memories. Okay. So, were you baptized or dedicated as an infant?
I'm pretty sure I was. It was at the Pritchard Lutheran Church
Okay.
at 63rd and Elmwood in Southwest Philadelphia.
Wow. And do you know who was there?
I can remember it was an old man. When I was about 3, I went there from the time I was baptized, of course, as a baby, but I went there for Sunday school. And I remember the preacher was an old man.
Mm-hmm.
At least he seemed that way to me. And his wife was grouchy. And she made some little boy cry at Sunday school one Sunday. And I snuck out of Sunday school. I was only about 4. And I ran all the way home crying because she was mean to that little boy, made him sit up on the stage in this big chair, which I thought was a big chair. It was probably like this, but he was little.
Right.
And I was afraid of her. So from then on, I went to the Southwestern Presbyterian Church until it was time to become dedicated, as you might call it. And then I went back to Pritchard.
Okay. And then, what faith was that in?
Lutheran.
Lutheran. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's making you look really gray with this lighting. And she's got a touch of, actually it's making you look really white. Where'd your dad go to work every day? And what did he do?
My father was in charge of the bindery department of the original Benjamin Franklin Printing Company.
Wow.
It was the one that Benjamin Franklin started. And he worked a half a day on Saturdays. They always worked 5.5 days. And I'd take the trolley with a note to the trolley man where to get off, and I'd go meet my dad, and we'd go to Horn and Hardt's for lunch.
What was it called?
And then go to the Earl Theater for a live stage show.
Wow.
And one day, Dad, he said, "Come here, I want to show you something." So he took me to the back of the plant. We went up a rickety elevator. It was commercial, one of the big ones. It was just rickety as could be. We went up to the 3rd floor, and he took me way back in the corner. And he showed me this little printing press. And he said, "Alla," he said, This is Benjamin Franklin's original printing press,
Wow.
the one he used when he worked here.
Wow.
But they didn't have the museums in those days like they do
Right.
today. So now, I don't know where it is. It might be at the Franklin Institute. I'm not sure.
So his work interested you?
Pardon me?
Did his work interest you then as to what he did?
Just that I thought he was great, that he
Yeah.
was in charge. And,
Right.
I just...
Did your mom have a job outside of the home, or
No, she was a
she's
stay-at-home
stayed
mom.
at home? And then, so we did your favorite sport. Can
I
you
guess
just,
basketball and
yeah.
having playing catch.
How about your grandparents? Can you describe them and what you liked about them the most?
My father's parents, his father died. He was a chemist. He died in World War I. And he had an accident at work. And so grandmother, her name was Amelia Elizabeth Wentz. And I remember we used to play Parcheesi with her. And whenever my cousins and I beat her, she got so angry. Now, my other grandmother, whom I lived with in my teens, she was cheerful, happy-going, and had had so many heartaches in her life. And the only thing she'd ever ask me when I dated a different boy, and I dated a lot of them, was we'd be going out on a date, and I'd say to them, I don't neck. Before they'd even take me to a movie or something.
Right.
And so she, the only thing she would ask me about the boy was, she didn't say, is he a gentleman?
Uh-huh.
She would ask me if he was Protestant.
Oh, okay.
Because in those days there was a strict thing about Protestants and Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my mother's heart was broken because she was in love with a Catholic boy.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother and my grandmother broke it up. And I don't
Because
think
of the
she ever
religion.
got over it.
Hmm.
I know he came to her funeral. He was
He
still
came to
alive.
her, really? And what was your greatest fear as a child, do you think?
I don't know. I don't think I was afraid of anything. I don't remember being fearful.
That's good. Can you recall for me the most important lessons you've learned in life?
Well, I've learned to go forward.
Uh-huh.
If there's anything wrong, try to make the best of it. And if you have a problem, like my grandmother told me, she'd be ironing away, and I'd ask her how she stayed so happy and cheerful with everybody. I was only 16 when I asked her this question. She said, well, if you have a problem, she said, just work it off. Get the scrub bucket and brush and scrub the paints.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the funny thing is, I have a son who's depressive, Stephen, and he asked me the same question one time. And so I told him the same answer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing fine because he's retired, but he works with Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, nice.
So he keeps himself busy all the time.
Yeah.
And
That's
he
very
reads
nice.
a lot, and he does real well with it.
So I bet everything is clean in his place.
Pardon me?
I bet everything's clean in his place.
Oh, yeah.
Because you scrub it all off. Okay. Do you have your most memorable Valentine you ever received?
I don't remember.
No. Okay. This is good because how far did you have to travel to attend elementary, junior high, and high school?
Well,
And how'd you get there?
Elementary, I had to go walk about a block and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to junior high, and that was about a block and a half the other direction. And then I went to senior high, but I didn't go locally because I was invited to attend the Philadelphia High School for girls. And if you had an average of 85 or over, you were invited to go there, and that was in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take the trolley in and you'd have 15 cents for a round trip on the trolley, and it cost 3 cents for a pass.
Wow.
So sometimes I'd save my 3 cents and walk from Market Street up to Spring Garden, where Girls High was located.
Uh-huh.
And it was a beautiful school. It was shaped like a U, had a courtyard rather,
Uh-huh.
and I had 4 years of academic Latin there.
Wow.
Of course, when I came out, I was only good for working in a gift shop or something.
Huh.
So I went to another high school that was close by, about half a block from my grandmother's house, or block, and I took up shorthand and typing and got involved in the business world, which I loved.
I kind of did the same thing in high school. Took my
Yeah.
shorthand and typing and
Yeah.
the adding machines, 10-key adding machine back then.
I took every math course I could take. I
Uh-huh.
loved math. I responded to it. And I had, in fact, in my last year in high school, we had trig, and we finished the course early, and the teacher started to teach us calculus for college.
Wow.
But that's the first time that I got a sort of a kink in it. I
It was
didn't
hard.
do too well with that.
Yeah.
But I was only 15 in my senior year in high school.
Wow.
So, because I had skipped so many grades in between, you could do that in those
Right.
days. And junior high, they had a special course for the smart kids. You could do 3 terms work and 2. And that's
Wow.
when I took that course.
Uh-huh.
And we had a Latin teacher in that. She was wonderful.
Okay. When you were growing up, did you have any animals?
Any enemies?
Animals.
Animals? No, we never had a
Really?
pet.
No. But
My
you lived
brother
on the
had a
farm
dog
though,
for a
right?
while, and Spot was killed.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I had just come home from school, and he was telling me about Spot being hit by the car. He was crying his heart out. And I told him, I said, Harry, don't worry about the dog, because he's up in dog heaven now, and he's looking down on you.
Uh-huh.
So that made him stop crying.
Do you remember how old you guys were?
Harry was only about 5 or 6, so I must have been about 8 or 9, 10, something
Okay.
like that.
So it was pretty profound at your age to say that. Tell me about your mom's cooking. Can you recall your favorite meal and what made it your favorite?
I don't know. Mother was a good cook with everything she did. She was never too well. She wasn't, like, she didn't stay in bed all the time, but she had me at home, and she had my brother in the hospital, and she almost died, and they had given her blood transfusions. It was before they tested blood.
Mm-hmm.
So after Harry was born, she was not well.
Mm-hmm.
She'd take naps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And rest a lot. And my dad and I used to do a lot of the cooking, and I was little,
Right.
you know. But we found out later, even after she passed away, that they didn't identify it, but in the day that she was in the hospital having my brother, she had bad blood. They gave her bad blood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she developed, I don't know whether it was HIV or hepatitis. It might have been hepatitis C.
Right. Because she ended up dying, which they thought was
Yeah.
sclerosis of the liver.
And she only lived to be 55.
Right. So that was really young.
She was young when she died.
How old were you when she died?
I was about 29.
So you
Well,
were
if
married?
She was 55. I was more than that. I was about 31. She had me when she was 25.
Okay. And then, so you were married and out of the house
Oh, yeah.
with kids.
In fact, I was planning on bringing her back to my house and stay.
Mm-hmm.
I had put the 2 boys in the 1 bedroom together and had the smaller one fixed up with her own bed and everything so she could come live with us.
Uh-huh.
And I could take care of her. My minister and my doctor told me, you can't do this. You can't take care of her. It's not going to be too hard on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I can't help it. I have to try.
Right.
I said, you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
And I said, I wouldn't let my mother go somewhere.
Right.
But as it happened, she took a turn for the worse and she passed away. She was beautiful. She had dimples in each of her cheeks.
Uh-huh.
And I try to make myself have
Have the
dimples and
dimples?
put my finger in my cheek. And
Uh-huh.
never worked.
Do you have a dimple just on one side?
No,
I do. I just
Yeah,
have
you
it on
have
the
one.
one side. Yeah,
that's
I'm
one
right.
for Mother.
Oh, okay. It's probably her kiss. So part of your chores when you grew up was probably helping around because your mom was sick.
Yeah. And I tried to help my dad because one time I scrubbed the kitchen floor and I used cleanser to scrub it. I didn't know what to do. I was about 9.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all white. Dad had to
Powdery
do
white.
it over.
Did you get allowance?
I don't remember getting an allowance.
Yeah.
No, we
Probably
didn't do
back
that
then
in
we
those
didn't.
days.
Yeah, I don't think so. Do you know who gave you your first job and what kind of job was it?
Mother would never let me go to the shore with my girlfriends and work for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always home until I got out of school. And then I went to work at GE.
Mm.
And because I was good in art, they assigned me a draftsman
Wow.
job. So I was doing drafting while I was there. And I had to be fingerprinted and everything because it was during the war and we were doing Navy work.
Wow.
And so it was considered high profile that you couldn't talk
Right.
about it or do anything like that.
Do you remember how much money you made doing that?
I think I made about $14.92 a week.
Wow. You think?
I think I remember that.
I think you know. What did you do after that?
Well, I got married early. I was
Uh-huh.
only 19 when I got married. And